So WEkEO is a DIAS or Data and Information Access Service. So it was basically created to facilitate the access to Copernicus and Sentinel environmental data in WEkEO. And it's a program funded by the European Union. What we offer in WEkEO is, as I said, you can see an easier access to environmental data, but also cloud infrastructure and a very competent user support. So if you have any question, you can contact them. So WEkEO, as I said, is operated by the different entities that are entitled to manage the different Copernicus services. So if you haven't heard of Copernicus, it's a European Union program dedicated to Earth observation and to monitor the Earth. So we have different entities that are responsible for the different services. We have Mercator Océan, ECMWF, EUMETSAT, and EEA, sorry. So the services are the following. You have the land monitoring services, the climate change monitoring services, the emergency monitoring and security services, the atmosphere monitoring, and the Copernicus Marine Service, finally. Besides that, we also have Sentinel missions, which are the satellites that provide the data that you can find in Copernicus, and they also have some missions, which data you can also find in WEkEO. So, how you can access WEkEO? So you can go through its website, so you will be able to find the catalog with all of the products. You will find more information on like computing resources, you can find use cases, you can also access the different events that we organize and many other materials. And also 3 main assets from WEkEO. So, and why it is an advantage is that it provides direct access to Copernicus service data, which is directly linked to the original sources. So it is not a copy. And this access is also harmonized. So that means that facilitates some programming and an analysis that you might need to do with the data. So besides that, there's also, as I said, a very active user support, so which you can always contact and ask any questions you have related to the data or how to access the data. So, and as for any of the Copernicus data, the access to WEkEO is free, and the access to download the data is also free of charge. So it's an open source data, environmental data, which we provide. We also provide free access to e-learnings materials, which are, for example, Jupyter notebooks. And then we provide also a section that, for example, if you are more experienced and if you would like to have some computing power, that is part of what we apply cost. But for the rest, if you just want to visualize or access the data, it remains free and open to everyone. You can also have an access to a Jupyter Lab. So if you have heard of Jupyter Notebook, this is a nice way for you to learn how to use the data and how to do basic analysis and kind of track your evolution, because we share it through its Jupyter environment and you can learn a lot through its platform. And so speaking of Jupyter Notebook and Jupyter Hub, so here we have the Jupyter Notebook gallery, which you will find, where you will find a lot of notebooks already developed on different services. So you have notebooks for climate, atmosphere, for marines, you have everything you need with different filters to help you find what you want. And you will also have access to virtual machines. So I will not go too much into that today, but don't hesitate if you have any question about this virtual machine to contact the user support. And so speaking of the user support, it's easy to contact them, so you can do it by email or through the help center that you will find on the website. So you also have a section dedicated to usually current question, so you might find your answer even before contacting the user support. So that's all for me for today.